Hi, this is the video for Daf Shevui, Daf Peh Aleph, page 81. I am Josh Kulp, as always. I wanted to go over a line that occurs in our sugya today, a rather long and complicated sugya, but I just wanted to go over a small piece about Darshe Midrash Ketubah. There is a concept that some people sometimes read precise midrashim, kind of a deduction, a very precise reading, not into the text of the Torah, which is the place where usually the Midrash occurs, but into the text of the Ketubah. In other words, the Ketubah is enough of an authoritative document that you can read it in a particular way that's almost counterintuitive to what we would think of legal principles. And the truth is, this comes out of a dialogue in the Mishnah in Yevamot. I think that's probably the source of this, where there's a Mishnah that says a woman who comes and says, "My husband has died." And it was the only evidence that her husband has died and she should be allowed to be remarried is her words itself. Okay, we have no witnesses. We don't even have the one woman witness. Sometimes the rabbis usually do not allow women to be witnesses, but in the case of to prevent her from being an unmarriable woman, they allow that. But this is a case where she herself, the wife herself, says her husband has died. Obviously, there's some problems, that there's some conflict of interest. Beit Shammai Amrim Tinaseh. Beit Shammai says she can be remarried, and Titol Ketubah, and she can receive her Ketubah. Beit Hillel Amrim Tinaseh velo Titol Ketubah. She may be remarried, but she cannot receive her Ketubah. Now, Beit Hillel's position makes some sense. In other words, if she's so sure that she can be remarried because her husband has died, then we can let her get remarried. After all, if something happens and it turns out her husband's not dead and he comes back, she's going to want to have all the big problems. So if she's willing to take that risk, let her take that risk. But Beit Hillel would say, look, to make a financial claim, usually to make a financial claim on somebody else's property, and here she would be claiming against the husband's heirs, you need proof. Right? And a person can't testify on their own. So that makes sense from, let's say, a legal and financial perspective. Beit Shammai's position doesn't make so much sense. Since when do we allow a person to testify on their own behalf? Why should we allow this woman, as much as we might want to allow her to get remarried for purposes of not making her stay an aguna, an unmarriable woman, why should she also be able to receive her ketubah? After all, that's a financial claim. So Beit Shammai says to Beit Hillel, "V'halo misefer ketubah niomad." We can learn this from her ketubah. Sharei kotevla, for he writes to her, "Likishinasira acher." When you remarry somebody else, you will receive this ketubah. And obviously that clause in the ketubah is not meant to address to the particular situation where she's the only evidence that she's allowed to remarry. She's the only evidence that her husband has died. But still, Beit Shammai says, look, the two go hand in hand, and we can learn that from the Midrash on the Ketubah. As soon as you let a woman remarry, you also allow her to collect the Ketubah. And it's it's a very precise reading of the Ketubah, one that counters all sorts of legal traditions. It gets bandied around in our sugya and several other places to say things related to other situations, particularly in our situation about burial. It comes up also on Nun Gimel about burial, that she cannot receive certain rights, right, unless she's already been married. Actually, it's not, our sugya is not about burial. Our sugya is about the case of yibum, where she's still waiting for the yibum. But unless she has already died, right? The husband has already died. There's certain rights that she cannot receive. So I realize that our sugya used it kind of loosely, but I think it comes from that particular sugya in Yevamot, where Beit Shammai is saying something that makes not a lot of sense, from a legal perspective, and so in order to make it make sense, they darshan the ketubah. I hope that was clear and helpful, at least for that one line of the sugya.